What's going on, guys? My name's Theoatrix, and today I'm bringing you a way to use the Martingale betting method or system in terms of staking in Runescape. A quick note, I personally really don't like staking and don't think anyone should ever do it, but since I like maths and probability, I felt like making this video to apply some mathematics to Runescape in a pretty interesting way. So for those of you that don't know, the Martingale betting system is the idea where on every loss, you double your bet. So in terms of RuneScape, if I stake 10 mil and I lose, the next stake would be 20 mil. And then if I lose again, the next would be 40 mil and so on. The whole idea behind this is that you always come out with a profit. So you always win one of these stakes and profit that original 10 mil, but only under certain conditions. So in this video, I'm going to do an explanation with the optimal conditions in terms of staking, and then I'm going to do a more realistic staking situation and work out whether profiting from the Martingale system is a myth or is actually real. So for the Martingale to work fully effectively, there are a few assumptions which we need to put in place. Now take note, these assumptions are going to change in the second, more realistic scenario. Just to bring context, I need to start with this assumption layout. So the first key assumption for the Martingale system to work is 50-50 betting odds. Now, staking, of course, is not always 50-50 odds. Like one player could have higher stats or something like that, but just imagine both players are max combat or have exactly equal stats. Also, PID or player ID comes into play with staking, and that's basically who gets the first hit judging from their player ID. So I guess it's never gonna be 50-50, but it's damn close. The other assumption is that you have unlimited money, which obviously is a big no-no here and is never ever gonna be the case. If you had unlimited money, you wouldn't be staking in the first place. But anyway, just for this first example, this has to be an assumption. The reason why we need this assumption is so we can always double up our bet on every single loss that we get, because the Martingale method falls apart when you stake your last bit of doubled money and then lose it. So now pretend I'm starting off my staking with 1 mil stakes. And remember, my winning potential is 50%, so my probability is 0.5. So now to calculate the expected value in probability, all you have to do is sum all of the weightings, and in this case, it's the probability multiplied by the amount of the outcome, so the profit or the loss. So if I go in for 1 mil, I could either have a net gain of 1 mil or a net loss of 1 mil. But both of these outcomes have a 50% chance of occurring. So that means my expected value is half of 1 plus half of -1, which is 0. So essentially, if I was to constantly stake 1 mil over and over and over again, my expected winnings would eventually be 0, as long as we have the same stats and the same odds. Now, if we employ the Martingale system, so let's say I do 1 stake and I lose, so now I'm down 1 mil, and now I double up to 2 mil, I can either be 3 mil down after this stake or 1 mil up after this stake. And the odds of that happening are still 50-50. Now pretend I lose the stake. Now I'm down 3 mil. So I decide to double up again, and now I'm staking 4 mil. So if I win, I'm up 1 mil, and if I lose, I'm down 7 mil. Now just from these couple of stakes, you can see that by doubling my stake each time, there's always a 50% chance that I come out profiting my original bet of 1 mil. And there's also a 50% chance of losing a lot of money. This is where the unlimited money assumption comes in. If I had unlimited money, it means I can keep doubling and doubling and doubling until I win a stake. So therefore, I'll end up being 1 mil up. So to prove this with expected value, this is what I need to do. So your first bet, I have a 50% chance of winning 1 mil, and I also have a 50% chance of losing 1 mil. However, this time we are doubling up on a loss and infinitely going until I win a stake to make myself that 1 mil profit. The key word there is infinitely, with my infinite money. Now to prove that I'll always be up 1 mil under these conditions, you can do the probability of losing every single stake. So that would be 0.5, the probability of losing, multiplied by infinity, since we can do an infinity number of stakes. Now 0.5 multiplied by infinity is actually 0, since it just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it reaches a number so small that it has to be 0. So from this, you can conclude that the chances of losing every single bet in a row is 0, since we have unlimited money. And that means you're always going to win one of the bets that you make and profit that 1 mil in the end. So the expected value, my probability of winning, is now 1. I'm always going to come out with at least 1 win. So therefore, my expected value is 1 mil. Yay, I doubled my money, no risk at all. Sounds like a bit of a doubling scam, right? Well, it sort of is. Let's change the assumptions a bit and let's keep the 50-50 odds, but now let's assume I have a 1 billion GP cash stack, which is a huge amount, and will only be doing 1 mil stakes. So I have a 1 bill cash stack and I'm starting off at 1 mil per stake. So I'm doing literally 1,000th of my original cash stack. So with a 1 bill cash stack, I can stake 1 mil, lose, then double up, lose, a total of 9 times. So that means I can do 1 mil stake, lose, 2 mil, lose, 4 mil, lose, 8 mil, lose, 16 mil, lose, 32 mil, lose, 64 mil, lose, 128 mil, lose, 256 mil, and then lose. And then that would leave me with a 489 mil cash stack. And to double 256 mil to 512, I can't do that because I only have 489 mil and the next bet has to be 512. So that's where I'm going to stop. So essentially you can lose 511 mil after you lose 9 stakes in a row. Now the fact that you started with 1 mil and ended up losing 511 mil in only 9 stakes shows that the Martingale method can get bad very, very fast. So now I'm going to calculate the expected value after all of these stakes. Now remember, the expected value is the amount that you are expected to get after an infinite amount of stakes. So if you keep on staking, this is the value you should end up with. So the probability of losing 511 mil, aka losing 9 stakes in a row, is 0.5 to the power of 9. And this gives you 0.001953125. which is 0.1953125%, which is a tiny little percentage. Now take note, I'm not going to round this number because if I do, it ruins the whole equation. Obviously, this number is tiny. This is basically like a 1 in 500 chance of losing that much money. Now back to the expected value sum, you have a 0.001953125 probability of losing 511 mil. So the first part of the equation is negative 511, since I've lost that much money, multiplied by the probability of losing that much money, and that gives me negative 0.998. So now the probability of winning, on the other hand, whether you win the first stake, the second stake, the third stake, the fourth stake, it doesn't matter which order you win it in, the probability of winning just one of these stakes and getting out 1 mil profit is 1 minus the probability of losing. So it's 1 minus 0.001953125. Now from this, you get 0.998 again. And now if I multiply this by 1 to get my expected value, it's the same number as before, but it's the positive version. So that means that the expected value overall, or the expected outcome, is 0, which is exactly the same as staking this same amount time after time. Now, if you do these same sums with different numbers and different numbers of stakes, so say you have like 100 bill cash stack and you do like 50 stakes or something, you actually end up with the same outcome, a 0 expected value. So now, in summary, the Martingale staking system is not a guaranteed win like most people think it is. Most people think, okay, I'll go in, if I keep doubling up, one day I'm just going to get a win and I'll win money in the end. But as you can see, the expected outcome is still the same as just doing the same amount over and over again. Of course, staking is about luck, and with staking, you should always leave the duel arena as soon as you're up on money, because when you're up, you're above the expected value, meaning the odds are not in your favor. So eventually you're going to go back down to 0 expected value or lose a lot in the next few stakes. Now guys, thank you so much for watching this video. It's a bit different to my normal videos since I don't really like promoting gambling or staking or things like that, but this is some cool maths for stakers or people just interested in the method or staking methods in general. Anyways guys, it's now time for clip of the day, and the clip for today's videos is a sequence of screenshots. The first is from Siryus Black, who managed to land Ranger boots and a master clue on his 20th medium clue scroll. Dang, that's lucky. Next is from Want My Ellie, who managed to get a Malediction Shard 3 on his first ever kill at Scorpia. And he also managed to get the Zora pet on 605 kill count, which isn't overly lucky, but it's still so awesome since you got it on such a low kill count. The last screenshot is from DustyyDeity, who managed to get the new Dark Claws from Skatizo on his second ever kill. Congratulations man, and good luck getting those 1000 points for that purple Slayer helm. Anyways guys, once again, thanks for watching and have a great day.